Are you a frustrated Anaheim Ducks fan? Of course you are, because you're a Ducks fan. And that's the only kind of Ducks fan that there is right now. GM Bob Murray is taking an interesting step here. He is actually going to be the coach on an interim basis. Uh, Randy Carlyle's out of work. I do think that with Randy Carlyle, I do suspect this will probably be his last job at the NHL level. You look at the combination of how it ended with him with the Leafs, and then you look at what's happened with the Ducks, and I do think that's probably it for Randy Carlyle as a coach at the NHL level. He will make an excellent analyst with whatever channel picks him up because he's a well-spoken man. But it is broken that he's done now. I can't. You know what's funny? I can't put it all on him because I don't think the team has been good enough. But Murray will admit that too. Executive Vice President, General Manager Bob Murray will take over as interim head coach of the for the remainder of the season. Randy Carlyle's been relieved of his duties. The talk has always been that the Ducks are just waiting, and they're going to bring up Dallas Eakins to be their coach next season. I think this is a slap in the face of Duck fans. To be honest, I do. I think that if you're going to say, well, this season we're just waiting till next year when we can bring in our other coach instead, you're telling season ticket holders for the Ducks, you're telling fans of the Ducks, this year's lost because we're waiting till next year to bring in a coach. It's not the same as last year when the Sabres were keeping Brendan Gooley and Linus Olmark in the minors because they felt they could bring them up this year and that it would make a huge difference and that last year was lost. This is while they're still in the playoffs. While they still have important games to play, the Ducks are making the decision of, oh, we can't bring in Dallas, and we're not going to bring anybody else in, so it's Carlyle or nothing. And it's just gotten worse. And the players have stopped playing. I still say the moment you have to fire Randy Carlyle is when you got Ryan Getzlaf turning around and going, we should pull the goalie. And he's actively telling the players, nah, I'm not going to pull the goalie. Nah. And then all of a sudden, yeah, fine. All right. Gibby, you're out. That's when he's done. That's when the coach is finished. Is in that moment when you've got a guy turning around and telling the coach what should happen. This isn't Nathan McKinnon turning around to Jared Bednar and telling him to do his job. This is Ryan Getzlaf literally trying to do the job for the coach because he feels like the coach doesn't know how to do the job anymore. The Ducks have been playing to get Carlyle fired for a month and a half or longer. And so now we get Bob Murray as the interim coach for the rest of the year. Brian Burke really was the one that saw this in the tea leaves. They asked him last night on Hockey Night in Canada, and he said something's going to happen. Bob Murray's come back on his trip from Europe, made it sound like he'd come back early, and he said, I expect something to happen here. And he said, I like Randy. Randy's a good guy, but yeah, something's got to happen because he's lost the room. And he lost the room months ago. But again, here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem I would have as a Ducks fan. I'm not a Ducks fan, but I'm no longer a Ducks hater either, so I'm nice and neutral on this. There are a lot of young guys I like on Anaheim. They're in the playoffs a month ago. A year ago. Feels like a year ago. They're in the playoffs a month ago, a little over a month ago. They're losing a bunch of games. You're still playing important games. That's when you make the change behind the bench. The changes that have been made on the ice, like Bob Murray came out and said, well, it's going to be the guys in the room that have to change it. I'm going to have to make some changes. And what changes did he make? He trades out Pettersson. Pettersson's become actually kind of better with Pittsburgh. Pettersson's been kind of awesome with Pittsburgh. You trade out Aberg. Well, all right. There was no real core changes made. And it's felt like the whole way through, like the Ducks are just trying to get through this season, just trying to nurse this season through, and next year's going to be the year. I hate it when teams do that. I really do. This is why when Canuck fans say, why are we trying to win now? We should just tank and get Jack Hughes. No. There are too many cases where a team will try to play badly or just have a throwaway season for next year, and then next year is almost as bad. Sometimes worse. this is totally on the general manager, which is why I applaud him for having the courage to be the interim coach. It'll be interesting to see how the Ducks play with him behind the bench, since he will be the guy deciding which one of them stays and which one of them goes at the deadline. And I'm just saying one because it doesn't feel like there's any big moves coming with Anaheim. But maybe with him behind the bench too, it does mean, yep, we're going to go ahead and sell. And their hand's been forced. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just tapping upon this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. The Randy Carlyle watch is finally over. I'll talk to you again soon.